Hey guys, welcome to the Troy Gramling podcast. I'm so glad that you're with us today, and we've got some special guests. And if you happen to be listening today and instead of watching, let me describe one of them. One of them comes with 4 legs,
Yes, she
and,
does have 4 legs.
but she has a bow,
She does have a bow.
and she has a shirt on.
Yes, of
And
course.
her name is Harley. It is our little Shih Tzu, right? Is that how
Yes,
you say it?
yes. Uh-huh.
So she is the princess around our house, and we'll post some pictures on Instagram just in case you want to see her for sure. Now, we're talking about everyday leadership. We're talking about how, a lot of times we read the books and we go to the conferences, and those things are great, but there's a lot of successful leaders right around us that we can learn from that sometimes we forget to ask or forget to listen to. And so we have one of those today. Steph, I'll let you introduce our guest.
Yes, so we have Denise Lewis here with us, and we're so honored, Denise, to have you. We've known you for quite a few years. Actually, I always get a lot of questions about my hair. The colors and everywhere I go, right, Troy? It's like they're saying, "Oh, who does your hair?" So, for
But
all
hold. Before you go any further, I'm the one that told you should do that.
you did, you gave me the idea. I'll give you credit for that. But
Thank
Denise
you.
is the mastermind behind
Right,
it. So,
exactly, of course.
yep. So Denise is the one you've actually done our hair, both of ours, for many, many years, a
Yes.
long, long time. So, yes. And so we are honored to have you here with us today, and just to for the audience to get to know you a little bit better. So, got to kind of start out with just kind of a simple question, getting to know you a little bit better. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your family, your business. We'll kind of start there.
I am the owner of Blend Beauty Lounge. I am originally from Wisconsin and moved here 13 years ago. I have a 11-year-old daughter who attends Potential Christian Academy, and I've been doing hair for 23 years.
Wow. Now, the most
Long
important
time.
question we're going to ask is, so are you a Green Bay Packers fan?
I am.
So do you want
and
Aaron,
Dolphins.
Aaron Rodgers to stay or to go?
I want them to stay.
All right. All the right answers for sure.
Yes, yes.
So we're talking about everyday leadership. Let's go back to your days in Wisconsin. And were you a captain of an athletic team, or were you in student government? Were there any of the things when you were young that you see now as an entrepreneur and a business owner that you can look back and say, oh, I saw some of those things back then?
So I was not student council. I was just like an average kid. However, I was in dance team in high school, and we practiced 5, 6 hours a day. 5, 6 days a week, and times were really tough doing homework and dance team. And there was definitely times where I wanted to give up, and I just had to keep going. And my parents really backed me up, and made sure that I finished.
Yeah.
Even when it got hard. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
would say that now definitely goes along with like my work here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the most difficult, is to not give up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
to learn that at a young age is
Yeah.
is an
That's
important thing
Yeah,
for sure.
that's awesome. Well, we're of course, talking about leadership, we're all wired different. Some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts. So how do you where do you fall in that? Do you see yourself as more of an introvert, on the shy, quiet side, or an extrovert?
I definitely think I'm both. So if I am comfortable with you, I can open up and talk, no problem. But if I'm in a group setting and I don't really know anyone, I'm more shy
Yeah.
until I, feel comfortable.
Right, right. Yeah.
Well, to be in that, the way people at least think about the salon business, I don't know if that's what you call
Mhm.
it, but that's where all the talk
Talking.
happens, to
Yeah.
use
Yep.
a nice word there. But
Yes.
so you got to be able to talk and I guess listen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
In today's world, I would imagine, just on a side note here, tell me if this is true, that people, are lonely. So that some people might come really and look forward to coming to get their hair done really for the interaction with their stylist or with other folks that are there at the salon.
Yes, they definitely enjoy coming and opening up and feeling comfortable, and it can change their whole outlook or mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why
Yeah.
you go, Steph?
It is. We have great
Yeah, we
conversations while
do.
I'm sitting there
Yeah.
about everything.
Everything. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. No, actually, I enjoy our conversation. I enjoy that
Me
time.
too.
For me, it's kind of like downtime. You're doing my hair, which is relaxing anyway.
Yep.
To
And
you.
then to me, it's relaxing to me. Probably not to Denise, but
No, I love what I do, so
yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, thinking about, as you were growing up and all, who are maybe some people that you looked up to growing up, or, who are some leaders or people in your life that inspired you?
Um, Definitely my parents for sure. They've been
Yeah.
married 43 years, and my dad is like the absolute best human I could say. He,
Yeah.
both of my parents, they're super patient. They're very understanding. They just unconditional love, and they were great parents. And I think now that I'm a parent, and I've been in, a relationship. I was married for 11 years, and now, I seeing how awesome they are
Yeah.
together. Just you appreciate them so much more when you're older.
Yeah.
But my parents were great. They were always there for me, always.
Yeah.
Now you talk about them a lot. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So you can
Yeah.
tell you have a lot of respect for them and care for them.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What were some of the things that you look back that have allowed that? I mean, 43 years. I mean, that's an incredible thing. What are some of the things that you reflect on, or even when you were young, that you think has allowed them to stay together for that long and be happy?
They never went against each other when it came to parenting. Like my dad always had my mom's back and vice versa. So I think that was really great. My dad worked really, really hard, but always made time for my mom.
Mm.
Um, they did everything together. Still to this day, they're best friends.
Yeah.
They do everything together. They never really did things separate often. And I think that's how it should be. I mean, they're best friends, so it just
Aw.
came natural. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know we've both met your parents, and yeah, I could see why you would say what
Yeah.
have the great things to
Yeah.
say. They are great people and just very kind, and have huge hearts, and so yeah, I think they're actually visiting you
Yep,
right now
they're
from
here.
Wisconsin. Yeah.
They're here.
So I notice, you have the opportunity to deal with your clients, the public. You have the opportunity to deal with suppliers, and then you have several stylists that are there in the salon. So what are some things that you've learned about people in general as having so much interaction with people, as the boss, as the buyer, as the one giving the service, right? What are some things you've noticed about people in general?
Um, I would say you just have to be open. Everybody has their different things going on in their life, and different seasons. I listen a lot. I get to know somebody and just feel them out and listen to them. Yeah, I treat people like the way I want to be treated.
Yeah.
Right, and that's actually a biblical concept.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you see, as far as folks that especially coming in and that work there in the salon, we hear a lot about how the country's divided and all that kind of stuff. Do you see that, or do you see the general people able to get along, even though they may not all have the same perspective on whatever it is?
It's definitely 50-50. I hear a lot of, I would say probably more negativity just listening in my chair, and I try to be positive and be their ear, but there's still a lot of positive things happening. I don't entertain any of the negativity.
Right.
Yeah.
I try not to.
Yeah, that's good.
So how do you? I'll let you jump in here in a minute, but how do you intentionally not take that home? Because anybody that works with the public, is going to, hear hurtful things. I mean, I'm not like hurtful to you, but hearing what's going on in people's lives, and like you said, we tend to share negative things. And so you're going to hear a lot of that. Do you intentionally, not to take that home because it's people you care about in some sense. So how do you deal with that so as not to carry, if you have how many ever people in your chair in a day's time, plus everybody else that's walking in and walking out, as the owner, do you intentionally do that, or how do you deal with that?
It's tough. I'm not gonna lie. And I have such a special relationship with pretty much everyone that sits in my chair. So I find myself sometimes at night texting them, asking if they're okay or following up. It's tough to not take it home. Um, I was telling somebody here this morning how I turn off the radio and I just try to like really drive home in quiet and peace and just kind of decompress. But it's hard not to take it home.
Yeah. And I think that's normal,
Yeah.
for all of us. So, talking about leadership and, of course, sometimes people say, well, I'm not a leader, but, leadership is influence, right? And so, if you have influence, as a wife, as a mom, so for you, I know, you're a leader in your business, you own the hair salon, and then, also, you're a leader in your home, you're a mom to Aria. So thinking about what are some things maybe you've learned as a parent that some leadership lessons that you've learned as a parent that have helped you in your business?
Patience. I definitely have to pray for patience every single day. And following through with things, I've learned, what you explain or what you expect from them. A lot of times you do have to follow through.
Yeah.
At home and in your business, being a role model.
Yeah.
You can't expect something from someone if you're not doing it yourself.
Right. Yeah. No, those are great things. I would definitely say patience as well. Yeah.
No matter what your business is,
Yes.
those are.
No matter what. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now, how long have you owned the business?
I've owned the salon for, I think it's 6 years. Yep.
Wow. So you were in a few years before COVID,
Yes.
and then you got to experience the joys of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Almost as a new business owner in that sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course now we're coming out of COVID. What about as we hear a lot as far as a woman and being in the business world and being an entrepreneur and being a business leader. Are there any maybe unique challenges that you think as a woman that might help somebody that's listening or watching that is thinking about starting their own business, or they have an idea and something you might have experienced that you could help them with?
If you put your mind to it, I mean, you can do anything. And I'm a hard worker, and I don't go to bed until everything is done.
Yeah.
I've gone through a lot of challenges in life, and I think it just makes you feel so good about yourself when you know that you're doing something and helping people and you love to do it.
Yeah.
So I would, definitely just put your mind to it and do it.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think definitely, perseverance is the key.
Yeah.
With anything, it's, I know when we back years ago first got into ministry and planted the church there in Arkansas, and then even when we came here to South Florida, almost 23 years ago, it's, it can be, there can be a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties along the way, but it's just, the key is just not giving up.
Mm-hmm.
When you do experience, failure, or, things don't go as you planned, which we know they, especially being an entrepreneur, that, they don't always go as we plan,
Yeah.
but it's just, deciding that, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep at this, and, I am going to be successful, having that positive mindset.
Right. And not getting discouraged, and taking things personal. People leave, people come and go, and you can't take it personal.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
What was the motivating factor to move from being a stylist to owning your own place? What was your...
I like things done the way I like them. I used to teach at Aveda when I first moved to Florida, and I loved teaching people what I do. And so opening up a salon, excuse me, gave me that opportunity to, teach people and watch them grow and maybe someday be able to do what I do, be an owner or,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Well, there's always a difference too, when you, like you said, when you're the boss,
Yeah.
and are able to do things the way that you desire to do them for purposes even greater than yourself, And I think though a lot of times when we forget the cost of, I mean, everybody wants to be the boss,
Yeah.
but it's paying the price because everybody just sees you, be the boss, right? I mean, and they don't necessarily see the challenges.
Yes.
Like for example, when COVID came
Yeah.
along, and all of a sudden, everybody's looking at you. Are we
Yeah.
going to open? Are we going to close? All those decisions, and even if somebody else helps you make them, ultimately you're the one responsible.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, and how did you deal with COVID when you look back on it?
Oh,
Do you look back and think you did well as a business owner, as far as leading goes, or do you look back and think, man, if I had to do it over, I'd do things a little differently?
it was a really stressful time. I'm not gonna lie. I probably felt really down at that time in my life, not being
Yeah.
able to help anyone else. I felt like my hands were behind my back. We were closed for about 8 weeks, and it. I was so sad that my employees and everyone
Yeah.
else couldn't work and make money. But we just kept in touch and tried our best to be positive about it. And when we came back, we were all so grateful. I mean,
Yeah.
it was amazing to come back,
Yeah.
and work together again. I wouldn't
Yeah.
do anything different. I really had no choice.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's good. And, I think we all look back on the COVID. Well, first of all, we're thankful that we're
Mhm.
through that season. But, talking about, as the owner, the boss, you carry a lot of that weight. I'm sure you pour out a lot you carried the weight of that when you were closed down for
Yeah.
those 8 weeks, about your employees and their families and all of that. And so, obviously you give a lot, you pour out a lot to your clients, to your employees. So, I'm sure you need to be filled up as well. You need to be inspired and encouraged. Where are some places you go to get that?
Uh, Definitely go to church. It's like my gas for the week. I mean, it just inspires me and helps me stay motivated.
Yeah.
My daughter I love spending time with her. She's an inspiration, makes me feel so complete.
Yeah.
Family, my friends. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your daughter. She's an athlete.
Yes, she's a competitive gymnast. She travels all over. We travel all over. And she also rides horses on her 2 days downtime.
oh.
Yeah.
And she goes to
She goes to
PCA as
Potential.
well.
Yes, since
I
she
think
was
she's been
3.
here, yeah,
Yes.
since she was a
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
She loves it.
They all grow up very
they
very
do.
quick.
Yes, it's sad.
Now, you were telling me the other day, as far as the training goes, and some of the things that you're dreaming of. And a moment ago, you talked about how you started because you get to do, you get to be the boss. You get to kind of set those things. What are some of the things that you do? And maybe you do them as you go, or maybe you intentionally have classes or whatever. But how do you train the folks that are representing, that are working there? How do you help them be what they need to be so that overall you're all successful?
I have them assist or shadow me, work, with me side by side, and then when I feel like they're ready to go on their own, I put them in a chair and then I help them build up their clientele. I think a lot of positive reinforcement is huge for
Yeah.
anybody. We do better when we're complimented and helped. Just a lot of communication, helping.
So a lot of one-on-one.
Yes.
Are you intentional about that? And then, of course, you guys work in close quarters in the sense that you're all in
Yeah.
there in the salon, so you're able to speak into what they do. What's the key to being an effective stylist? I mean, beyond you got to have some ability in anything you do, but I'm sure there are some folks who can do maybe crazy things with people's hair, but don't have enough clients to succeed. So what's the key in being able to have a client list that allows you to live?
I think it really comes from your work ethic, to be honest. I mean, you know, coming to work early, being motivated, you know, being ready to go out there and try to build up your own clientele, handing out cards, meeting people. You just have to have that want and that passion and show up.
So you have to show
Yeah.
up,
You have to show up.
have hunger and confidence, I guess, in your ability to
Absolutely.
cut,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because people are going to, it's an art. I mean, if you think about it, a stylist is like a singer or a painter or a pastor, in the sense that every time you do something, people are evaluating
Yeah.
how well you actually did. Every time Steph comes home, I'm like, well, let's see, is that a good one?
Yeah, no, that's good. Denise, kind of talking about, leadership, and, you often hear it said that, that self-leadership is sometimes even harder than leading others, that self-leadership, that self-discipline. So what role do you think self-discipline has played in your success?
Uh, Definitely, if I'm not disciplined, no one else that is around me is going to be. So it's everything. I mean, I show up early, I stay late, I don't do anything halfway.
Yeah.
You know, I and I expect that from my daughter as well, and my employees, everyone that works there. I think self discipline is probably the key for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
did you have to learn that, or did your parents demand it, or how did you come by that? Because a lot of folks don't have that.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely my parents, and I think being in sports, mine was dance growing up, was a lot of self-discipline. My parents also like stayed on top of us and followed through with things.
Yeah.
But I've always, I've always wanted a lot, like more for myself.
That's good. Steph, how
Yeah,
about you,
that is
Steph?
good.
You're a pretty disciplined person in most areas.
Yeah.
So where did you get that?
Yeah, I think from my parents as well. I think growing up, a lot like what Denise said. I watched my parents, work hard and be disciplined, and have at the time 2 young kids, and my dad was finishing up his degree in college, and I think he worked like 2 or 3 jobs on the sides, and in the summers he would travel to Michigan to do some summer work while he was off school, and and I saw my mom work hard, taking care of us. And then, after we got old enough to go to school, she actually went back to school and got her teaching degree, and started teaching. So I think definitely they've modeled that over the years, that just how being disciplined and, working hard pays off. And so I think, I've seen them model that, over all these years.
Yeah, I think maybe a lot of times we forget that people are watching, especially our children. But if we have employees or interactions, even with clients, they pick up on little things that they say. Like I could have told you how much respect you have for your parents, because I just in the little bit that I'm there, I hear you talk about them. So
Yeah.
you can tell what somebody values by what they talk about, and I think sometimes that can even be a motivation for us, realizing that it may be going really difficult for us, and we're praying and believing for breakthrough, but even maybe bigger than that, there are 4 other people or 15 other people that are watching, that their breakthrough may impact the world even more than we're able to in some way, and therefore not to give up and to live that
Yeah.
that life that matters, whether it's parenting or owning a small business or whatever it is. It matters. John
Yeah.
Maxwell wrote a book called Today Matters.
Mhm.
And I think it was a really good title, because we know our life matters, but sometimes we forget today matters.
Yeah.
And that people
Yeah.
are watching today for sure.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. So, as we continue the conversation about, self leadership, self discipline, what do you think are some of your like greatest strengths, and then maybe some weak? We all have strengths and weaknesses, and I think a part of leadership is leading out in our strengths, but then making sure we surround ourselves with people that maybe are strong in areas we're not strong in, and can help in those areas. And I've seen you do that at your, at the salon. You have a lot of different people with a lot of different giftings, that are there. So what are maybe some of your biggest strengths, and then maybe some areas where you have to like push yourself and work on?
I think it's actually the same. My strength and weakness is I have a huge heart.
Yeah.
So I want to help everybody, but then I also give a lot of chances.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's probably a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
Being confident, being secure with yourself.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Yeah,
about
no, that's
weakness.
yeah. No, that's great. And I agree totally with you on the having the big heart. I see that in you. I've known you for a lot of years, and I think that is a huge strength of yours. But I can see also the other side where sometimes it can. I'm sure it can, like you said, maybe giving to, not that I think that's a bad thing, giving people chance after
Right.
chance after chance, but I
Right.
know sometimes maybe that you can get burned in that. And so I'm
Yes.
sure just kind of, wrestling with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree totally.
So what about you, Steph? What's your strength? No, let's start with your weakness,
Weakness.
and then we'll end with your strength.
I don't know. You want to, what do you think
Well,
my
I
weakness
don't
is?
know.
Telling you how to drive?
Well, I don't want it. We don't have time to get. We don't have time to get into that.
Yeah. Well, I think I have a lot of weaknesses. Let me think.
You just
What would
can't
be
think
my-
of one.
No, I do. I do. I have a lot of weaknesses. I think. Oh, you caught me off guard here.
What's your strength?
Um, I mean, I think serving is a strength. I think I try to be self-aware. I think that's a strength, and I think for the most part, discipline
Yeah, I
would be
would.
some strengths.
Right, and I would agree. You're self-disciplined. You're selfless in a lot of ways, and I think what Denise said is true in all of our lives. Whatever we're good at also has a downside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're organized.
Yeah.
And downside of that is, you can be
Well,
too.
I would actually say maybe that's a weakness of mine. I think
Well, you're not
I don't think
organized.
I
You're
think that
neat.
is a big weakness.
You're neat.
Yes,
You're neat.
yes.
Our
but I
drawers are
think,
full of junk.
yeah.
But there's nothing on our
No,
shelves.
something I'm always trying to work at is being better organized.
have
I
a-
want to be,
But
but
you have a list. I mean, every
do,
day of what
yeah.
you got to accomplish. I mean, you got. I mean,
yeah, I'm organized
from
in,
my
in some
perspective,
sense.
that's incredibly organized. I mean, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
So it's interesting how we have strengths and weaknesses, as
Yeah.
does everybody that's watching, right? We have strengths and weaknesses, and you want to spend some time maybe today just kind of reflecting on what those are. What do you do well? And here's the thing: everything you do well has an aspect to it that can trip you up. So let's take some time and think about that. Thanks for watching and listening today. It's great to have you, Denise.
Yeah,
Thanks so
thank
much for
you.
being here. And we'll see you next time on the Troy Gramling podcast. You can watch it on YouTube, or you can listen to it on all the platforms. See you on Thursday.